We have a very special bottle to review today. It only comes out once a year and it's different every year. It's the Wild Turkey Master's Keep. Hi friends, I'm Laura, this is Troy, we're Baker Drinks. We've got a review of the Wild Turkey Master's Keep Triumph.
Wild Turkey Master's Keep Triumph is a 10-year-old rye. It's supposedly the oldest age-stated rye that Wild Turkey's ever released, and it's a tribute to newly appointed associate blender Bruce Russell. So they're keeping the special bottles in the family. Eddie Russell's son, Jimmy Russell's grandson, and we were fortunate enough to get a bottle.
Yeah, so these come in a fancy box, got a fancy bottle, and they only come out once a year. They're expensive, especially the last couple years. They're easier to find, probably because they're expensive than they were. We really loved the one 4 years ago. It was called One. It was toasted. We tried really hard to find that one, couldn't find it, and have only been able to find the ones after that. But we've been lucky. Troy went out, saw it on the website in Oregon, and was able to pick it up. Let's try it out. That is a heavy cork, my goodness.
Yeah, so they really do this bottle up right. It's got like the embossed turkey on it. It's the special square looking bottle. Very, very hefty cork. It's like copper sandwiched around some wood. It says Wild Turkey Master's Keep on it. I don't know if you can see that or not.
So this is a 10-year-old rye whiskey. It is 104 proof and non-chill filtered.
Yeah, MSRP is $299. We paid $299 for it. It's had some very good reviews, from some of the bigger channels. We'll let you know what we think of it and let you know if we think it's worth that price tag.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the reviews, so I guess I didn't know. Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, last year's Master's Keep was the Voyage, the rum finished. We liked it, but...
Mixed on it. Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't. It's a very strange bottle.
We unanimously felt that it was overpriced.
Yes.
By probably more than $100.
Yes.
But very good whiskey. We'll see. That $300 price tag means that this should be like unicorn level, an elite whiskey. We'll see if it meets that.
It better be pretty much the best thing I ever had. This is what I'm expecting. That's the level of expectations set by this price tag. Well, the thing right off the front of this is it's not very high proof.
104.
Only 104. So a lot of those really more expensive ones like BTACs, those things are high proof. They're just really setting the stage that you're getting something amazing. And this one doesn't quite have that, but it smells really good.
Yeah. So I'm getting some raisins on the nose. Some maybe like a fresh rye bread with raisins cooked into it. And there's like a really bright kind of a citrusy note.
Yeah, I think it smells really sweet. But definitely it does have that rye note you would expect. You can tell it's rye. Very sweet, lots of vanilla, and like you said, it's bright. It's got some citrus in it as well.
It's very fresh smelling.
Yeah, it's inviting though. It smells like I want to take a sip. I really like the refreshing notes, and it's something that draws me in. So I said it was a 9 for aroma and a 9 on depth.
Yeah, and normally I'm the more generous one, and Laura punishes these whiskeys. I found myself knocking a couple points off of this one, and I can't remember why, because the nose today is fantastic. I may have to amend my score. I gave it an 8.5 on aroma and an 8.5 on depth. But again, it's drinking more like a 9 and a 9 right now. Yeah, and I do want to take a sip. Shall we?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Usually at 104 proof, I don't get a lot of whiskeys that are extremely oily. This one, definitely oily. It coats the palate well. It's got a good mouth experience. But man, does it have a lot of spice to it too? You gotta like a spicy rye, because that is tingling all over. I would think it's higher proof than 104. If I were to have this blind, I would not say it's 104 proof.
It definitely drinks easy. Don't let her scare you away with the spicy talk. It drinks easy. But rye is a spicy gal in general. And all of that rye spice definitely shows up, along with some baking spices. I get some clove and some nutmeg in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the spiciness.
It definitely, the citrus note that I was getting on the nose shows up here. Maybe like a lemon zest or something along those lines. The fresh baked rye bread, it's kind of syrupy. I like it. It's dense. It's pretty intense flavors. And very complex. I'm liking this pour quite a bit.
I wouldn't consider this necessarily a summer rye though. Even though we have that citrus note and there's some brightness, there's so much baking spices that I think I'd prefer it more at Christmas time, but it only comes out once a year, so we'll just kind of save it for Christmas time. But I mean, it reminds me of like a spice cake or, you know, something like that. There's so much baking spice.
Yeah, it's really making me happy. I like it a lot. So for me, on the flavor, I gave it a 9. On the feel, I gave it an 8.5. Like I said, it's very syrupy, very dense. The balance, I gave it a 9, and the complexity, I gave it a 9. This so far is drinking like a pretty elite rye whiskey.
Yeah, I said flavor 8, feel 9, balance 8, complexity 9. Let's take another sip.
So it's got a very long finish for me.
Me as well.
Like definitely longer than average. Probably more like a minute plus to finish. And it really transitions from that sweet, spicy, oaky. It kind of does this mocha, not quite a bitter dark chocolate. It's more like a
semi-sweet.
Semi-sweet, sure. It's more like a semi-sweet chocolate. And it just goes on and on and on. And the oak shows up again on the late finish, never bitter.
Yeah, see, the first sip that I ever had, I did think that it went bitter on the end, but I think it just took me a minute to get accustomed to it. And it's not so much the bitter note that I don't like, but it was the transitioning from the sweetness to that chocolatey, spicy flavor without all the sweetness. So it definitely, it starts sweet and then it fades into a stronger leaning bitter, but not an unpleasant bitter, just a less sweet note. So I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8 for flavor and a 9 for length.
Yeah, and I gave it an 8.5 for flavor and a 9 for length. This has got a really good finish. I really, really like this whiskey a lot.
I do too, apparently. Our scores have said that. So on this final thing for overall, we talk about impression first. So this thing is gorgeous. It comes in this box, it's beautiful, it's got a story, it comes with a beautiful bottle. It's a great whiskey. I mean, it's everything you would want for that. And then you see the price tag and it's like, I can't think of a whiskey that I think is really worth that price point. Troy especially, huge Wild Turkey fan, so we try to get these LEs, but we had to this year cut it down where we picked up this one, but he did not go shopping when he thought he could get the Russell's 15. It was just, they're too expensive.
Yeah.
So impression, I gave it a 9, and then on value, I gave it a 5, because it's too expensive. It's too expensive.
I'm going to echo a lot of what Laura just said. I think the packaging is beautiful. It's what you would expect for a $300 bottle. You got like Laura said, you got the cool box. I can show it to you here. You know, it opens up. There's the story inside. You got this just great looking bottle with this giant embossed turkey on it, the heavy copper cap, all that stuff. Just beautiful packaging. It's classic Master's Keep. Every one of them has come out like this. The boxes change colors, the stories changes, obviously. I'm gonna say that my impression of this is also a 9. Value, I'm gonna, again, echo what Laura said. It's overpriced. I think all whiskey nowadays is overpriced.
And this even more so.
At $100 less, at $200, this would be like a buy and bunker.
Maybe a buy.
At $300, this was a treat. And again, like Laura said, I had to choose between this and the Russell's 15. And I feel like I was able to get this only because the Russell's 15 and this dropped at the same time in Oregon. And everybody was out chasing the Russell's 15. And so a couple of these sat on the shelf for a few days. I found it on the OLCC website and I drove down and picked it up. So I gave the value a score of 6, the impression a 9. My overall on this is an 85.
And I said it's an 83. So it's pretty high up there. We very much enjoy the flavor and everything with it. We just don't like the price. So, I mean, it could be, if they charged a little bit less, it could be a showstopper, but the price takes it down.
Yeah, I was hoping this was going to be the first 90-point whiskey that we've ever rated, but the value score on this really hurt, and it's not just the price, it's the availability. These come out in a very limited quantity one time a year, and they're usually gone pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, 10 years is pretty old for a rye. Ryes don't tend to be that old, but I mean, their 6-year rye is like $60. And to add 4 years and make the price $300 is pretty insane.
It's a big ask from Wild Turkey, and I feel like a lot of these legacy distillers are starting to have big asks for their limited edition products. As a consumer, you got a choice where you spend your money, and so do we. And we chose to put it into this bottle as a one-time treat to ourselves and not chase every limited allocated bottle that comes out.
Even if we want to. So I hope you like this content. We've got reviews coming out every Tuesday. So if you want to see those, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you again soon. Cheers.